Everybody, it's so exciting to be here with you. Excited to go through everything fellow related with you all today. So we'll dive right in. With fellow, the two key things that are going to differentiate fellow from other note-taking tools are the privacy and security aspects, and also ensuring that we help you with the entire meeting life cycle to be as efficient as possible. We're here to help you in all aspects, and of course, making sure that you can have your information be as secure as possible as well. So we're going to be touching on both of those different themes throughout our demonstration today. We're going to start by talking a little bit about security. How are we going to have fellow join our calls, and how can we ensure that the right meetings are being recorded and the notes are being taken for those calls? So Fellow wants to ensure that you can have that granular security control over the meetings that will be recorded. With our enterprise plan, you'll have the ability to set default user configurations so you can ensure that your team is recording the right meetings, like I mentioned. You'll be able to see and choose if they want to record all of their meetings, just the meetings that they organize, or only the meetings they toggle on, as well as who they're sending those AI notes to automatically after the call. This is going to help set them up and set you up to make sure that the right meetings are being recorded. But you also want to ensure that some meetings are always being recorded and maybe some meetings are never being recorded due to the confidential nature of what's being discussed. So that's where these auto record and restriction policies come into play, where you can create custom rules for your team that will ensure that certain meetings, for example, are never recorded. In this example here, it's any meetings that are with an external person that have two or more people that contain the word legal, just to really ensure that you can have confidence that those meetings will not be recorded and can be protected in your team's account.
100%. Like you mentioned, Emily, these policies give leaders the control they need to ensure privacy. So you're able to set them and forget them and have the entire organization run their meetings without worrying about sensitive information being recorded when it shouldn't be.
100%. We really want to keep our eyes on that. Now, speaking of security, we want to make sure that we're starting by sharing the information with the smallest group possible, and then you can choose who you want to share that out with from there. So Fellow will integrate directly with your calendar, whether it's your Google Calendar or your Outlook, and every meeting you have will have a Fellow note associated with it. That will be shared with the people who are on the calendar invitation, internal to your team, and who have that fellow account. You can see those people right up here in the top so that you can make sure that that is secure and not being sent out to everyone right off the start there. So now that we know that fellow is joining into our calls, we'll have it record. And just like Emily said, you can also just kind of forget that fellow's even in your call. It's going to be gathering that information for you, and we'll create this recap once the call is over. You'll have your video here, which you can watch in 2x speed. But if you maybe want to have an understanding of what happened in that meeting in a faster way, you have this summary over here on the left. That's going to give you the overall purpose and key takeaways from that meeting so that if you maybe want to remember what happened last week, you can quickly glance over this. Or maybe you want to send fellow on your behalf to a meeting that you can't attend. Now you can quickly catch up on what happened in that meeting that you missed without needing to go back and watch that whole half an hour or hour-long video. Next, we're going to have our action items. We're actually going to circle back to these in a minute, but just remember those are being pulled for you here, as well as any key decisions that your team is making. At the bottom, you'll see your topics breakdown. This is going to be more of your granular meeting minutes, kind of all organized here together to make sure that they're in digestible, easy pieces of information to understand for your team.
100%. What I love about those meeting recaps too is that on almost all of the AI generated elements, you can see that there are clickable timestamps next to them. So you can easily see exactly where in the recording that action item or that chapter is referring to, just to give you the most context possible.
100%. I love using the timestamps. It makes it so much easier to just have that, like you said, a little bit extra context there. Now, speaking of more context, we also have the full transcript for you. This is going to help eliminate any of that, he said, she said, making sure everything is recorded here for your team. And it's also easily searchable, again, with those timestamps, so you can easily jump into the portion of the meeting that you're looking to review. Now, circling back to our security and privacy aspects, you also have the opportunity to redact. This is really key because you can see I could just select a few words, I could select a sentence, a whole paragraph of things that I want to have completely removed from my recording and recap here. This is going to delete completely from the transcription, from the video, and it will regenerate all of that AI content so that this piece is completely removed from your team, giving you full confidence, again, that everything is secure for your team here as well. So with this is going to give you all of the information that you need to feel confident coming out of that meeting that everything is recorded and easily digestible for your team. But you also may want to share that information out. Like we said, we're starting with the smallest group possible, but maybe now we want to explore opportunities to send it either externally or internally. One great option is you can make a clip. This will allow you to just select a portion of the video, perhaps customer feedback, maybe you want to coach one of your internal team members, and you can just send out a portion of that video rather than sending out the entire thing.
Yeah, that's something that I really love about clips, right? And something to mention about them is that not just anyone can share any clip from any meeting in your workspace. There are safeguards in place so that when you're sending that clip, you can make granular selections about who's able to see that clip.
Yeah, 100%. We don't want it to just be a free for all. We want to make sure that you can choose who that's going to. Now, speaking of that internal sharing, we also have our whole libraries page here. The All Meetings tab is going to show you all the meetings that you have access to. You can filter that down. I particularly love the participation filter. So again, if you're recording a meeting that you didn't actually attend, you can view that here as well. But what I wanted to specifically call out is the channels. Channels work very similar to how a Slack channel works, if you're familiar with that. This works so that whoever is a part of this channel here will now have access to view all of the meetings that are shared into this channel, even if they're not on that calendar invitation. So a real life example that we use here at Fellow is our sales channel. All of my external facing calls are going to go into that sales team channel. In that channel is my CEO, our product team, our customer support team, my manager. They can all come in on their own time and watch back my calls to either gain customer feedback or to help coach me as well to ensure that we all have that visibility into what's going on. Now, similarly, some teams choose to create more like project channels, in which case you could group calls based on the client, based on the project. So again, cross-departmentally, you're still having all of those eyes on the different meetings that are important for that project or client. Now, something to note as well is that Fellow does all of this in over 90 different languages. So if you do have teams that are talking in different languages on your calls, you can have those all covered as well.
One of the best things about channels I have to mention is the fact that you don't have to manually populate them with meeting recordings. In your automation settings, you can set it up so that specific calls, like sales calls, for example, get sent to specific channels automatically. And you can also make those channels as private or as public as you need them to be, depending on your individual needs.
For sure. It makes it so easy to just have those all go in the right place. No one's all bugging me asking for my calls to be sent to them. They're already in the right place. Now, we're going to zoom out a little bit. I know we talked about in the beginning, making sure we have that efficient meeting life cycle. And one of our favorite things to say here at Fellow is a bad meeting recorded, it's still going to be a bad meeting. So we want to help your team to really ensure that those meetings are efficient. And part of that is ensuring we have both the prep for a meeting and also the insurance and accountability after the meeting as well. So we'll start at the beginning portion of the meeting, making sure we have an agenda and a clear idea of what we want to discuss in that call. The first thing I want to point out is the meeting brief. So you'll get these for your recurring meetings, letting you know a quick summary of what happened last time you connected, and also some ideas on what you could follow up on in this upcoming meeting. This is a great starting point of some topics and talking points that you can utilize in your meeting. But to take it one step further, we also have agenda templates that you can leverage. So you'll see here that Fellow is split into two different sides. The notes side, which is your manual, more live collaborative document side, and then the recap side, which is what we were just looking at before. With the notes side, like I mentioned, we have this template library here, and there's going to be hundreds of different agenda templates that you can leverage for your team as a starting point for all of the different types of meetings that you might have.
Something I love about the templates library is that you don't have to go sifting through all 500 of our templates at once. They are organized by categories so that you can easily find the templates that are most relevant to you, whether that's one-on-one templates, engineering team templates. We've got them categorized for you on the side there so that you can see what's most relevant to you at a glance.
Yeah, it makes it way easier and you also can customize them. So maybe you just want to get an idea of what other teams utilize in a one-on-one meeting. For example, the pattern finder, very popular here at Fellow, gives you that starting point of what should even be discussed in a one-on-one. So then once you have that applied, you can now come in here and fill that out again with your teammates who have collaborative access here to add in your talking points, maybe add in some links, maybe documents, more context. And you can assign out these talking points to the specific individual who will be covering that in the meeting so they can take ownership of that specific point. Now, we do integrate directly with Google Meet, Zoom, and with Teams, and you'll be able to see this agenda in a side panel when you're in that call, so that as you're going through the call, you can be checking these off and making sure everyone is staying on track with the agenda. Now, of course, we'll have Fellow join that meeting with us as well, creating that recap for us in the back end. So we can really participate and focus on the meeting versus needing to scribble down all of the notes that we can think of during the call. Once that meeting is over, we again want to turn our attention back to that post-meeting side. Now, we have covered that slightly with the channels and the organization of your notes to make sure that all of that information is accessible for your team, but we also want to ensure that we're following up on those action items. So you can remember that they're being pulled here in our recap. Those are going to automatically go over into our notes section here as a square bullet point. Now, these will be automatically assigned to the right person who's going to be doing that. And you can set a due date for that here as well. So you can all have eyes on the action item, but also accountability for that to be completed. Now, taking it one step further, if you're using any project management tools like ClickUp, Asana, Jira, even Monday.com, you're able to connect those here and make sure that it's a two-way sync between your project management tool and your action item. So you'll see the example here is with Monday.com. It's showing that this is linked to a Monday board, and this will assign this action item to me with the right due date in Monday as well. Now, if you're not leveraging a project management tool, you can also group and sort your action items here within Fellow as well to see it either on a per meeting basis or maybe at more of that bird's eye view across all of the meetings that you have access to make sure that you're catching up on all of those action items that you have outstanding. Now, one final piece that I did want to mention is Ask Fellow. This is going to work like a ChatGPT for your meetings. It can be accessed either during the meeting or after the meeting as well to help you gain those insights as you're going through your meeting. So in this case here, I asked, what plan did Marcus decide to go with? You could ask it to write follow-up emails. You could ask to gather the action items that came from the meeting and present them maybe in a different way to you. You have all flexibility and you can be creative with Ask Fellow and how it's going to answer these questions about this specific meeting for you. But you can also ask it on the global level so that you can ask across all the meetings that you've had in your Fellow workspace. So really powerful when it comes to just sorting and assuring that you have all those information pieces gathered for you.
I love that you mentioned that you can use Ask Fellow during your call, Emily, because this is one of the most underrated ways to use AI in your workflow. Say you're in back-to-back meetings and you arrive late. When you're in the call, you can actually ask Fellow to catch you up on what was said before you joined. So you don't have to interrupt anyone. You can just join the call, get caught up on everything that you missed, and the meeting doesn't have to go on any longer than it should.
Totally. It's a great way to get caught up, that's for sure. So definitely a powerful tool there. Two other quick things I wanted to mention before we finish today, as I know we're getting close on time, is that if you are using a CRM like HubSpot or Salesforce, we do have a native integration with both so that your notes and recaps can automatically be sent to the correct contacts in your CRM to ensure you have that hygiene. Also, if you are doing any in-person or hybrid meetings, we do also have the ability to have speaker differentiation so that you can choose and label the different speakers from each of your meetings, even if they don't have their own individual microphones. So this is really powerful, and not to spoil it, but coming soon, there will be lots of new features added as well to continually improve the in-person meeting experience and making sure that you can record any type of call, even if it's outside of a Google Meet, Zoom, or Teams meeting. So that does wrap it up for me today. Hopefully, you are able to see that high level view of ensuring your team can have meeting efficiency through that entire life cycle of the meeting, making sure you're prepared, making sure that the meeting is going effectively, and then really utilizing that information post meeting to ensure that everyone is accountable and actually getting done the things that we talked about in our meetings. So, looking forward to hearing your questions, and thanks so much for joining.